I welcome you with that call, and I'd like to sort of set the stage for tonight as being one of gratitude. And the gratitude really is extended to all of you that are here, and for all of those who made this possible, to begin with in a bigger sense of it. I just want to mention some by name, and then we'll get into the rest of the program. So first of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the McKinstry Company, where we are today, and we'll learn more about McKinstry, Boeing, Cedar Grove, Miller Hole, the Tahoma School District, the Coho team of the Windermere Agents Real Estate, the DLR Group, Skanska Construction, Fish Brewing, Taylor Shellfish Farms, and Chateau Ste. Michelle. Could you give these organizations a big round? We could not do this without these organizations' support in so many ways. And then also we have this year, what's new is a raffle. And Courtney Sullivan, who we'll hear from a little bit later tonight in the back of the room, is with the National Wildlife Federation. She and her AmeriCorps student, Sierra, have brought together all these amazing raffle items. And thanks, first of all, to Courtney and Sierra and National Wildlife Federation for that. And then to Argosy Cruises, the Broadway Center, National Wildlife Federation, Northwest Outdoor Center, Pacific Science Center, the Palisade Restaurant, Palomino Restaurant, Ginny Reike, an artist who is on our board, Woodland Park Zoo, Cynthia Walker, and Larry Beal, who are my neighbors, for their contributions. And anyone else who may have brought anything in at the last minute. I know Jim Dobbs brought something in, Linda Vincel, and some others did. So thank you all for your support. I want to acknowledge our board of directors. If the board will please stand, I would like to name them. And so would you all please stand? You can all stand at once. I won't point you out, but they have their board stickers on, and I hope you'll visit with them after the program. Tom Holst, our president, Mike Mariansky, Ephanis Henderson, Erica Holmes, Justine Asselbaum, Belinda Chin, Melissa Holchak, Derek Oshiko, Mystique Hurtado, Terry Lears, Ellen Letvin, Courtney Sullivan, Ginny Reike, Stephen Stroyford, Gilda Wheeler, Pam Tufts, and Linda Vansell. Thank you all for your service. And it's really an amazing board, a very diverse board, professionally and geographically and culturally. We're very, very lucky to have these people at the helm of this organization. Thank you all so much from the depth of my heart for what you do every day for this organization. Okay, is Aaron Zimmer in the room? Boy, that guy. And there he is. Okay, what about Katitsa? Okay. Okay, Aaron Zimmer is the E3 Network coordinator. He's staying in the back. You've all heard from him at one time or another. He really was the organizing force behind this event tonight. Aaron, thank you so much. Much more in our organization. He's an amazingly talented person. So grateful to work with. And as is Katitsa Holthouse as our administrative assistant. Even though she's not here, can we applaud for her anyway? I'd like to acknowledge the award committee. Now, I know that the award chairs, Jessica Aronson-Cook and Jennifer Pritchard, are here. Can you guys stand, please? Thank you, ladies. Thank you. This is a committee of about 8 people, and they have made committee work into a bunch of fun. And so that is at the root of this. It's the core of it. They get together, they have a great time, and they do the process throughout the year of selecting awards. So you really made committee work a model sort of thing. Thank you very much. everybody wants to get on their committee. And then I'd also like to give a word of thanks to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, US EPA, which has been a supporter, a partner, and a real leader nationally in environmental education through the programs that they have, including the Youth Environmental and Educator, the President's Educator Environmental Award, every year now that's being presented here. The Youth Award will be presented here. The Educator Award will be presented in another state where that was awarded this year. EPA is the federal agency that really has a real deep understanding of the field at the grassroots level and what's going on. And they gear their grants programs and their other programs to that. I want to applaud them for their leadership and hope that other agencies will follow suit in the way that they're providing that leadership. Thank you, EPA. Okay, so I'm going to bring up Tom Holtz next, and Tom is our board president. He's also an author, and he's written a book on Chief Justice William O. Douglas. Tom was a school administrator for many years. He was the superintendent of the Peninsula School District and worked in OSPI in education policy work, and then worked for Governor Dan Evans as the education policy lead for that governor. He knows a lot about this. He's been a teacher, children of his own. I think at least one of them is here tonight. And his love of this work powers me every day. He gets it. And I've asked him to read a passage from his book, which speaks to why it is that this way of doing education is so critical in our society. So Tom, thank you and welcome.
I said, Abby, this is an award ceremony, not a book talk. Put everybody to sleep. I'll get to that in a minute. When we honor a few, we honor many. And I don't know about you, but when I go around the room and look at those posters and think about the people and the projects, the commitments and the contributions that have been made in our state, I think it's just stunning. And I get a little teary-eyed actually as I meet the people tonight, have the opportunity to meet the people who are actually doing this great work. Before I do this short reading, I would just ask if you'll humor me for a moment. Would those of you who are students please stand for a minute, students? Thank you. Not only do you see them come across the awards platform, but we're going to hear, they're going to be our speaker, our featured speakers tonight. And how about parents? Parents who are here, mostly the parents who are coming with their students, let's put it that way. Otherwise, a lot of us would stand. But parents that are accompanying their young people here tonight to the awards ceremony, would you please stand? They're the ones with that real pride and wonderful smile on their faces, isn't that? They really are unsung heroes, our parents today. Thank you. How about K-12 through college educators? Would you please stand? How about our business folks, our business representatives? Would you please stand? And in our work, we try to blend together teachers, classroom teachers, with those experts in the field. We sometimes call informal educators who work for nature centers, our science folks that work professionally with science teachers. Would all of you that are nonprofit and informal educators, would you please stand? Well, thanks so very, very much. I probably missed a group or two, but Abby said we've got a really big program. Don't divide it too small. So I hope I have folks, at least in some way, representing everybody that fits within our umbrella. Well, I was persuaded, all right, I'll read a couple paragraphs. If you think a couple of those paragraphs would set the stage and the context for what we're doing tonight and happen to be in the forward to my book, then Abby, all right, I will do that. But let me just tell you that the book that I'll be reading from is The Footpaths of Justice William O. Douglas, A Legacy of Place. And without any more about Justice Douglas, who has been dead now for a number of years, but he was the longest serving justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. He was a Washington native son. He has a wilderness named after him in our state. That wilderness east of Mount Rainier is the William O. Douglas Wilderness. And so I wrote a book called The Footpaths of Justice William O. Douglas, A Legacy of Place. And in the foreword, I wrote as follows. Both Rachel Carson and Aldo Leopold wrote concerning the importance of teaching about places. They encourage parents and teachers to incite in the young a sense of wonder, affirmation, and discovery of wild lands and non-human life. Adults should take great care in teaching youngsters to engage in the natural world in order to participate in meaning-making. Sometimes our schools, not schools that are here, but sometimes our schools remain mute about place and run the risk of ignoring the robust teaching opportunities that lie just outside the classroom door. If we ignore these wonderful experiential learning opportunities, we become complicit in what Robert Michael Pyle, another Washingtonian, calls the extinction of experience, and unwittingly contribute to the deadening of the child's perception of the real world, retarding her natural growth and development, and hobbling the nation's democracy and civic well-being. You see, early associations stimulate some, if not all, of our senses. They provoke a feeling of belonging, create an emotional connection to a neighborhood and region, and give rise to a sense of place. In acquiring an appreciation and respect for a river, a park, a wilderness, a forest, a mountain, or a bioregion, one can mature in his or her appreciation for other rivers, other mountains, and other landforms, wherever they may be in the nation or the world. One can learn stewardship and ethic of service and citizenship. This appreciation for place or one's ecological address can extend to other cultures, other faiths, and other people. As Pyle further writes, a sense of place is a way of embracing humanity among all of its neighbors. It is an entry into the larger world. So in developing a sense of place, a developmental sequence occurs beginning with a feeling of wonder, intense curiosity, budding to appreciation and respect, and finally maturing to stewardship and citizenship. And isn't that what we all want for our future and for our students?
Yes.
I have one final quick function here on this evening, and it is my very real pleasure to honor one of our board members, outgoing President Ephanus Henderson, who has served on our board for 4 years and as president for 2 years. We prevailed on him to serve for 2 years. Don't count on that. Anyway, he was the diversity director of the Weyerhaeuser Corporation, just recently having been retired. Ephanus is a nationally known, indeed a worldwide figure in the area of diversity. He's had the opportunity to speak for the United Nations all over the globe. We will miss Ephanus as our leader, as our president, but he's the kind of guy that continues to come to events like this. He's here tonight and continues to serve on the board as past president. So Ephanus, what he used to say as he would adjourn meetings and wrap things up, he would say, well, is that a wrap? And that would be a wrap. So Ephanus, tonight, I want to say to you, it's not yet a wrap for you, but we do want to honor you as our past president if you'll come forward at this time. Ephanus, thank you. Certificate of recognition honoring the career and contributions of FNS Henderson, President Board Member 2010 to 2014. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, FNS. One of our other new board members, brand new board members, Jenny Reike over from the Tri-Cities, is an artist whose art you've seen around. She has some weavings behind us, FNS. We'd like you to select one of them. But first, Jenny's going to say a little bit about this art.
These are like a dog's eye. You've seen the sticks you cross and you weave together. I just take curved sticks with the students out in the forest, and they turn into a bowl. And when I take them home to the Tri-Cities, they dry out and they go flat. Over here, they might curl up again. Please choose one. They represent the web of all connectivity, and the students actually culminate their lessons with attaching meaningful symbols to them. So they go home laden with things and words.
I won't say very much other than to say thank you, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve this great organization. Environmental stewardship and education is a real important heartfelt value that many of us, all of us on the board have, along with the staff, and it extends out into the communities in which we operate. It's a very important undertaking, and I really thank the organization for this award and for the opportunity to have served as the president over the last several years. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Jenny, as well. Thank you. I'd like to now bring up Lauren Fruget, who is an education program manager here at the McKinstry Company, to tell us a little bit about McKinstry. Thank you, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to McKinstry and welcome to our Innovation Center. For those of you who were here last year, you probably recognize that the building feels quite a bit larger. This is a space that has been in flux for the last couple of years. McKinstry is a 50-year-old construction and engineering firm that focuses on high-performance, energy-efficient buildings, and one of our main segments that we serve is K-12 public education. So schools are very important to us, and making school environments a healthy, safe, and efficient place to have classes and have learning experiences is incredibly important. What is also important to us is community and collaboration and innovation. And it was a vision of our founders to create a space that wasn't part of a large construction and engineering firm, but would foster creativity and new businesses that focused on energy efficiency or clean technology or education. And through that vision, the Innovation Center was born. We built this building with two purposes. One, we needed more parking. So we added a parking garage. But second of all, we left the second and obviously the third floor to be very flexible business space. And we filled up our first group of tenants with a very highly selective process that would actually find companies that were not quite ready to go out into the world, but had really concrete ideas on ways that they could change the planet for sustainable, energy efficient, or educational purposes. And we invited them to use our space as a fledgling land for their businesses. And it has been incredibly successful. We have a large host of businesses, nonprofits, and community organizations that are on the third floor, and we recently expanded it to this side of the building and have filled up tenants over here as well. It's been a really unique opportunity to have startup companies right next to a large standing Northwest company that now has offices in 17 states. We're able to share resources and ideas, share a cafeteria, share parking. It's been a wonderful opportunity to collaborate across organizations of very different sizes, and it's been a wonderful educational opportunity for our clients and our community members to come in and see how business can collaborate with other businesses, other community members, and other organizations. So, welcome to the Innovation Center, and congratulations to all of the award winners today. Thanks.
Thanks, Lauren. E3's very grateful, again, on that theme, for the partnership with McKinstry and having the opportunity to be here in the Innovation Center with other organizations and businesses. Continuing on to the theme of an individual who was an honorary co-chair of E3 Washington, was somebody we lost this year, Billy Frank Jr. This is a poster of Billy. There is a running slideshow at the other end of the building. If you haven't seen that, there's images of his amazing life and contributions. And to pay tribute to Billy, we're going to bring some people who are dignitaries with us here in the audience forward this moment. Steve Robinson, are you here? Okay, if you'd come forward, please. Senator John McCoy is here today with us. Councilwoman, Council Chair Sean Sharp, and she's not with us today. Okay, and then Frances Charles, Councilwoman of the Lower Fallen Chair. Excuse me. If you would all come forward for that honoring, and I would like to honor all of you as we initiate this. So please, a round of applause for this.
Thank you, Abby. I'm Steve Robinson. Excuse me. I had the great honor and privilege of working very, very closely with Mr. Billy Frank Jr. for 30 years. On May 5th of this year, 2014, we in fact did lose a giant here in the Northwest, but did we? Did we really? Billy Frank Jr. Was my brother. He was a very, very close friend, someone who I spent a lot of time with. We traveled throughout this country together. We did a lot of things together. He was someone who was the definition of courage. When it came time to stand up, whether it meant being arrested, whether it meant putting himself on the line, being beaten, being put in jail, well, he did it 58 times. I think maybe that says something about the man. And then he was someone who rose to be a leader when it came to proving that he never broke the law. He was never arrested for breaking the law. He was arrested for exercising his treaty-protected rights. He was arrested for standing up for something that the United States and the state of Washington and every one of us should have stood up for every inch of the way. Billy Frank Jr. was my brother. I once asked him, as his quote on the board says, what he wanted to be remembered as. And he said a fisherman. He wanted to be remembered as a tribal fisherman. Well, this is a man who, he stood with giants. He stood with giants, and he knew no strangers. I saw him walk up to people on the street. They didn't have a dime, and before we left, their eyes sparkled. They knew they had new hope. I saw him walk into the doors of presidents and governors, and they embraced him. He embraced everybody he ever met. This is a man who, did we really lose him on May 5th? He did join the Creator. He stepped forward. I can see him now sitting in the council fire with the great chiefs. And I know he's looking down upon us, and his legacy is alive as it ever has been. He was a champion. And since his passing, it's been asked many times, who's going to take his place? Well, no one is ever going to take Billy Frank's place. But I'll tell you what, we can continue the work. And so it has been asked, who's going to continue the work? And the answer to that is all of us. Every parent, every teacher, every tribal member, every citizen. We know what we need to do. Billy made it very clear. Teach your children about the salmon. Teach them about the environment. Teach them about the mountains and the ocean, about the birds in the sky. Tell them where they live. Help them understand that we have responsibilities that we need to be accountable for. Billy was a warrior, but he was also very gentle. He had the ability to touch people, everybody. And the comparison has been made many times since his passage with a man named Mandela. There was a good comparison there because Mandela went to prison for many years. When he got out, he could have started the Civil War easily. Well, Billy went to jail many, many times, and he could have started the Civil War easily. But he didn't do that. No, he opened doors. He brought people to the table. He was a collaborator. He was a peacemaker. He was somebody who, because he believed that we could all do better together, we have processes. Things like the Timberfish Wildlife Agreement, the U.S.-Canada Treaty, things that are taught in our schools and should be taught better. Each and every one of us is responsible for carrying forth the legacy of Billy Frank. I thank every one of you for the work that you're doing. And thank you to the Environmental Education Association Washington, E3 Washington, for giving us this opportunity to pay tribute to him. Thank you very much. I was asked to read a poem. When my father died about 12 years ago, I wrote a poem just a couple of days after he died in his memory. And the first day that Billy died, I leaned over his bed the entire day as he lay and stayed in his own bed in his house overlooking the Nisqually estuary that he loved so much. The next day, I spent that week crying. After that, I felt very empowered because I knew that he had prepared us to carry on. But the next day after his death, I wrote the following poem. And there's a part in this poem where I talk about his cussing. Well, if you knew Billy Frank, you knew that he had mastered the art of cussing. When Congressman Kilmer spoke at his funeral, 6,000 people came to his funeral, by the way, to Billy's funeral. It was amazing. He said, Congressman Kilmer said he didn't think Billy knew his name because every time that he saw him, he called him Jesus Christ. Well, there is a part in this poem where I make reference to that, so I just thought I'd explain that. But I titled this, Honoring My Friend Billy Frank Jr. Through the wind, there comes a voice, whispered memories in my mind, reflections of many bygone days, tasks and triumphs left behind, visions of moments lived before, words he shared, laughs and grinds, stories and lessons of his life, tasks and triumphs left behind. The words of the man echo inside, too many to recall, yet I need more. Just one more smile, one more embrace, forever gone, these blessings before. Shock numbs my mind, it stifles my gait. My thoughts together cannot connect. I have to force myself to breathe. My wits I find I can't collect. Yet he did his job in preparation for this day when he'd be gone. It's with the strength that he imparted I will eventually carry on. He told his story of the salmon and all the life that they sustain, the river, the land, generations to be. I will, like them, return again. So thank you, Mr. Billy Frank, for every moment you gave to us, the many laughs, the lessons taught, and even your ability to cuss. No one will ever fill your shoes, but you showed us how to live, how to stand for what is right, how to fight, and how to give. We will miss you, Billy Frank, but you now sit with the greatest chiefs, and we will do our very best to carry on with your beliefs. So, just one last word. You are going to hear, we're going to be hearing music later. You'll hear from three young ladies from Lummi who are going to sing a song to you that was dedicated to Billy Frank, entitled, What About Those Promises? And I think it's very special. Not only just to hear it. Now I'd like to introduce a couple of very, very special people, one at a time. First, Frances Charles is the chair of the Lower Douglas Clown Tribe. She's a very special woman, good friend of mine. I can tell you that something very special happened up in the Elba River. Removal of a couple of dams. It was something that would not happen. It would not have happened without the work, the dedication, the spiritual strength of the people of the Elwha tribe. This wonderful woman is the head of that tribe, and it's a great pleasure that I introduce her to you to say a few words about Billy.
Good evening, everybody, and it's an honor to be here, especially to say a few words about Billy himself. I got to know him through the years of being on tribal council, but I also knew him before that because of my father, who was on tribal council. My brother, my sister, we kind of had that trend of being on council at that time. Many times I would see him come to the different reservations when we were small, as well as we did before he had passed. But it was an honor and very humbling, and really not understanding who he was when we were smaller. But the brisk and the strength that he imposed and the spirit that he brought with him has been really something intriguing. As we got on and started moving forward, and following what I always say, following the footsteps of our ancestors. The goals of taking out the dams themselves, the challenges we've had in Port Angeles with our UNA and our heritage and our history. Education was one thing that he always strived on. It didn't have to be a classroom education, it was the environment itself. It was out on the field, it was in the boat, it was out wherever it may have been. It's something that he always enriched us with. But the courage and the ability that he had thrived on it. When you thought you were going to fall and be down, he was always there to lift you. He was always there to rise you. Many times through the journeys that we have taken for the dam removal itself, whenever I would see him not only in this Washington state, but back in Washington, D.C., he would always come up there and give me a big hug and really squeeze us and say how much he loved us and endured on what our achievements and the goals that we were going for. He told us not to ever give up. Don't look behind, always look ahead. Look at the mistakes that were made, but fix the problems as you go. He always encouraged us to keep moving that path and keep going forward. And these are some of the words that he always encouraged our youth on. And no matter who they were and where they were coming from or who he had seen out in the street, he would always go over there with a big grin and smile and shake their hand and ask them how they were doing that day. It was an honor to observe and to witness and see him a lot of the times, especially when we walked into the congressional rooms and the senator rooms, because they opened the doors for him. He was the one that was being honored and recognized, and it wasn't the congressional themselves, because they had that gratitude and respect for him, just as much as all the Indian nations and all the nations out there. It wasn't only the state side, it was the Canadian side, the international side, wherever it may be. But the ability that we had to work with him was something that we'll always cherish, because he always encouraged us. No matter how we felt and how we felt that we were hitting those walls, he would always come in there and liven it up. Education. I want to raise my hand to him and to his family, because I know that when we were trying to get the language programs into our public school systems, we were at the miss. Our teachers, our native teachers that were getting certified to be teaching the public schools, we were at the end of it, of where he recognized that somebody went in there, Denny Hano went in there and asked him, would you come to the Senate and to meet with the group in Olympia to infuse them about how the importance of the education of teaching our language programs are in the public schools. Not Spanish, not the foreign language, but our cloud native language, from the young to the old. To be able to have that in the elementary schools, the middle schools, and to the high schools that we're successful with today. He went in there and he praised to the facts, and he really encouraged that board of how important it was for our young ones to be taught the language programs. To this day, we're still teaching that language program, the cloud language, in the Port Angeles school districts. We were one of the first nations in Washington State to be able to do that, to have the certifications, to have our Native women and our Native young guys have the certification to go teach that language. So it was an honor to hear that and to recognize the importance of how he carried on the education and the aspects of what was important to all of us. I mean, we could go on, and what Steve was saying is just a little bit of what was there, because he really means a lot to us. He'll be in our heart, he'll be in our spirit, because he's always looking upon us, and he gave us the guidance to move forward with, and we know what we have to do, and we know what you have to do yourselves. We need to partner, we need to collaborate, we need to work together, because it's not only for our generations, it's for all of the generations. You see these kids here today. And that's the challenges that we all have to work with together to make it doable for everybody. So, Hotness, and I really thank all of you, and I'm really honored to be here tonight and have the opportunity to talk about Billy, because he's been a friend, he's been a mentor, and is somebody that I will never forget in my lifetime. Hotness.
Senator, you know what the red light is, right? So I'm gonna give it, so keep it short. I'm so sorry. The next speaker who will say a few words about Billy is the Honorable Senator John McCoy from Tulalip. What more can you say? He's a stalwart, he's strong, he's somebody who has been there 100% of the time, somebody who has stood up and is a strong, strong leader in his state. Senator McCoy.
Good evening, and yeah, I could stand up here for hours and talk about Billy. But, you know, Billy had another saying. Who would be educated today on the issues? He always told us that. He said, we're not going to succeed unless we keep educating. So, I'm not going to have a speech, I'm going to make a plea to you. I want you to help me convince the University of Washington to name the Urban Waters program at the University of Washington, Tacoma, after Billy. Because that program is about the environment. And Dr. Sharon Parker wants to start a program in there, environmental engineering based on tribal practices and customs. And if we get that program going in there, and then having the whole program named after Billy Frank, that would be a great legacy for a great leader. So, help me there. Send your letters to Dr. Young, and I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator and Chairwoman. Steve. And we'd like for you each to take one of the remaining readings by our board member, Jenny, if you would please select one. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you again. And those hugs from Billy. I couldn't wait to see him because of those hugs. And he always made me feel like I think he really did know each and every person. He remembered you. Yeah, amazing man that we will miss. Thank you for this tribute you've done. Okay, now we are going to move forward with the E3 Washington Green Apples Awards, followed by the U.S. EPA Presidential Awards. And the way we're going to do this is there's going to be Jennifer and Jessica, why don't you guys start coming up here? Our award committee chairs, again, round of applause for you guys. They get to know these awardees almost like they're their own children. They are so passionate about them. So they're going to read about each awardee, and then we're going to ask the awardee to come up to the front here, right? And then Tom and I are going to bring over your award, and then we're going to ask the Green Apple awardees to stand together. So when you come up, we'll be with you. Just stand up here, and then we'll move through this relatively quickly. And then we'll move on to the EPA award. So with that, ladies.
Thank you, Abby. And before I begin, I also just want to acknowledge all of the applications that we received. They were all phenomenal, and I wish we could have awarded every person and organization that applied. We were really impressed with all the amazing work that everyone is doing, and we had to make some very difficult decisions. So just thank you for all of the hard work that you're all doing. It was an honor to receive the applications and review them. And we're only going to say about 1 or 2 sentences on each awardee. Each awardee did many more things than that one sentence, but we want to acknowledge that they made such a difference in so many different ways, but we do, to the interest of time, we really have to keep it short. So just know that this is just a small snippet, but they've done some incredible things. We're going to start with the inspiring students and educators, and then finish by recognizing organizations. And we have 3 outstanding student leaders from high school who, through their leadership, have inspired individuals to think about their environmental actions. So first, we would like to call up Jessie Dirks from Chief Sealth International High School. Jessie is president of the high school's Green Team, and she did many environmental projects with her school as part of the Green Team, including during World Water Week, starting a petition to ban the plastic bottle so that Seattle Public Schools would no longer sell plastic bottles. Congratulations. And the next student award goes to Jennifer Cabot from Avanti High School in Olympia. Congratulations, Jennifer. And Jennifer has taken on a proposal to construct pollinator habitats for bees and a functioning beehive. So we thought that was a really interesting project, unusual project, and focusing both on the educational and environmental benefits of constructing multiple boxes. So congratulations. Student environmental leader is unfortunately not able to come tonight, but we still wanted to honor her. Her name is Alexandria Chain from Garfield High School in Seattle. And Alexandria has organized various outreach campaigns to educate her broader school community about composting and the hazards of disposable plastic water bottles. She also led the Green Team at her school. So congratulations to Jessie.
We're going to honor the educators from the formal education system. So for the 2014 E3 Washington Green Apple Formal Educator Award in the pre-K through 5 category, I'd like to congratulate Nani Kastorpek from John Sanford International School. And Nani oversees the school's Green Team's composting and recycling program. She's not only earned the school several $1,000s of shared savings, but also has reduced waste and opened up students' and staff's mind to reusing and repurposing materials. Thank you, Nani. Next up in the 6 through 8 category is Midge Yergin from West Valley Junior High all the way in Yakima. Midge has led the effort for students to take ownership of the local creek and park adjacent to the school. She's identified grant opportunities, including finding salmon tanks for the schools to use. Thank you, Mitch. Next up in the 9 through 12 category is John Devine from Tacoma Science and Math Institute. John has molded the school into a model of environmental stewardship, creating teams that have developed programs that have led to the greening up of the school and creating lasting partnerships with local organizations. Thank you, John. Next up in the college through university category is Clive Pershouse from University of Washington. Clive has represented housing and food service at national conferences, presenting on University of Washington's effective student outreach strategies for driving student participation in sustainability programming. Thank you very much, Clive. Next up in the school administrator category is for superintendent is Mike Marinsky from Tacoma School District. And for those of you who don't know who Mike is, Mike has brought sustainability to the forefront of multiple areas in the school system, including curriculum, operations, student leadership, and community outreach. 4 of Tacoma School District's 8 schools have been recognized over the last 3 years as National Green Ribbon Schools. Thank you, Mike. And in the school administrator curriculum specialist category, we'd like to congratulate Christine Benita of Jane Addams K-8. And Christine works with all grades of students, both directly in the classroom and programmatically with teachers, creating events focused on environmental sustainability. Thank you, Christine, and all the rest of the formal educators.
Now we're going to move to another category of educators, and that is a very important category. It's the informal educators and who ensure lifelong learning in environmental and sustainability education. First, we would like to honor Joshua Berger in the field of informal science educator. Joshua Berger is from Sound Experience. He is the captain of the historic schooner Adventurous, Puget Sound's environmental tall ship. He is currently leading an ambitious and high-profile effort to create the world's first historic living ship, an educational platform that utilizes emerging technology as a model for sustainability. And in the volunteer category for informal educator, we are pleased to honor Bob Taylor from Washington State University. Master Composter. Bob volunteers about 220 hours of his own time a year just for the Washington State University Lewis County program. He teaches a series of 6 classes to all the students, including vermicomposting, pollinators and pollination, plants and trees, seedlings, transplanting, and composting. Thank you.
We're now going to honor the Organizations of Excellence, starting with the 2014 E3 Washington Nonprofit Community Organization Award. It is with pleasure that we recognize the Lock Clean Water Alliance and their Wet Science Center as the local organization recipient. So the Wet Science Center promotes the importance of STEM education and sustainable design to their community through their interactive exhibit gallery, programs, and their LEED Platinum certified building. Thank you, Lock Clean Water Alliance and their Wet Science Center. Additionally, we would like to recognize Washington Green Schools as the State 2014 E3 Washington Nonprofit Community Organization Award recipient. Washington Green Schools was started for the purpose of helping school communities become more sustainable through intentional change. Their process relies on student and teacher leadership in the form of a green team for each school that works towards certification. There are now about 265 schools in the state that are enrolled in this certification. Thank you, both of you.
And now we present the E3 Washington Business Excellence Awards. And the first award goes to First Green. And Steve Keeley is here to represent First Green to accept that award. Steve Keeley is golf course superintendent at Glendale Country Club in Bellevue, and he has turned his golf course into a learning lab, opening it to multiple public and private schools for environmental science field trips through the organization First Green. And the Washington Business and School Partnership Award goes to Cedar Grove Composting. Specifically for its Seeds for Scholars program. This program is a scholarship program which honors high school seniors with a $2,500 scholarship to their college of choice. The opportunity to interview for an internship at Cedar Grove the summer after graduation and every summer thereafter while in school. Congratulations.
For our next award, we recognize the City of Tacoma Office of Environmental Policy and Sustainability for the 2014 E3 Washington Government Agency Award. They partner with various organizations in the Tacoma area and Pierce County to encourage environmental education in schools and beyond. City of Tacoma Office of Environmental Policy and Sustainability works to develop programs that impact citizens at an early age into adulthood. Congratulations, City of Tacoma. I don't think they're in here.
For our next award, we're going to honor the 2014 E3 Washington Diversity in Action awardee. Senator John McCoy, congratulations. He has served both the tribal and non-tribal communities by working within the Washington State Legislature to bring about a deeper understanding of Indigenous knowledge, language, and the environmental values of Native culture and tradition. Congratulations. And for the second Diversity in Action Award, we are pleased to present Islandwood, the organization with this award. Islandwood Environmental Education Center on Bainbridge Island demonstrates its commitment to multicultural education by lowering one of the biggest barriers to environmental education for young people of diverse backgrounds, money. To ease this financial burden on schools, the organization underwrites more than half of tuition for all students and awards an additional $300,000 a year in scholarship funds. Thank you, Islandwood.
For our next award, we recognize President Fawn Sharp of the Quinault Indian Nation for the 2014 E3 Washington Tribal Leader Award. President Sharp headed coordinated efforts to restore habitat on the Quinault River. She has led both tribal and non-tribal communities to become involved with the restoration efforts. President Sharp, are you here tonight? Well, let's congratulate her anyway. For our last award, I'd like to bring up Tom again, who's going to present our last award for the President's Award.
The culminating event for tonight's awards from E3 Washington, Green Apple Awards, is a presidential award. And the good thing about being president is you get to make the choice of the presidential award. We had lots of wonderful, as you can see, fabulous candidates, nominees, and tremendous work going on in our state. And even though it was difficult, the more I thought about it, the more easy it was. And so the award this year is the Lower Elwha Clallam Tribe for their work in removing the 2 dams on the Elwha River. The Lower Elwha Clallam tribe received the award because of the tribe's long-standing focus on sustainability. As many of you know, September 14th will be a momentous ceremony when the final section of the Glimes Dam is removed, the last man-made obstacle for the Andromedas fish breach as it returns to spawn. Part of the joy of this accomplishment is the reality that the Lower Elwha Clallam creation site, covered by dammed water for 100 years, has been found and celebrated. Meanwhile, the restoration of the watershed has already started. Community volunteers are coming from all over the extended area to help grow and replant areas no longer trapped underwater behind dams. School children are learning about recovery in natural areas and the importance of balanced ecosystems. Please join me in congratulating the Lower Elwha Clallam tribe, represented by Frances Charles. I think her husband and her daughter also did.
My husband's here, Jerry Charles, and my niece Carmen Watson Charles. It's been a long journey. My heart is really happy. It's been a long task for our people. And standing here today, I'm very honored because of our ancestors and all of the previous leaders. We lost so many of them. So many of them that went to testify on our behalf for our youth, our children, our community, and all of you. But it's very humbling. I thank Maria and her husband for selecting me just as much, as well as all of those who had some input with this decision. Mike Doherty, I raise my hand up to you. All of the work that he does behind the scenes and works with the tribal communities. It's something awarding to have such good partnerships as we do with so many and so few out there. But being able to witness that first salmon coming back home, back up that river, was awarding. It was an achievement that we needed to see, and was gratified to have this happen in our time, in my time, my grandchildren's time, and the generations to come forward, because we've lost so much in our territory there. And we always have been encouraged, because we knew with what happened at Mount St. Helens when it blew, and when things and the life and the wild stock started coming back up, we knew that the Creator herself would take care of all of us and all of you. So it's very humbling. On behalf of our family and our tribal community, I raise my hands up to all of you who have received these awards tonight, and the tremendous work you guys do just as much, because there's so much partnerships out there with the education and the outreach that we have. We have a lot of work. That's what Billy used to always say, we have a lot of work. We got a lot of work to do, and we can do it if we achieve it together. If we can do it when we're partners and we collaborate with one another. So, Hotmanson, thank you. Our communities are ready to
Thank you very much for those words, and what an amazing, look at this group of people up here, you guys. I mean, can we just feast our eyes on the amazing people and the accomplishments, and just a little bit that you learn about them. And there's so much more, and there's more that's on the posters. There's more to learn from them later tonight. So thank you. Another round of applause for everyone. In the interest of time, we're going to move on to the US EPA Presidential Award next. Ask you guys to sit down, but after the formal program, will you all please come back up and we're going to get a photo with all of you, okay, at that point in time. So if you would humor us and come back for that, we'd really appreciate it. And then I'll, next, okay, I would like to now introduce Lisa Anderson Carnahan, who's the Associate Director of the Office of Ecosystems, Tribal and Public Affairs for EPA Region 10. Please welcome her to present the 2 EPA awards tonight. Thank you.
I just want to thank you for inviting us. It is so great to be here to hear about all this really wonderful environmental education work. And I can say that one of the best parts about my job at EPA is being able to celebrate environmental education accomplishments. You know, I'm a firm believer that EPA cannot accomplish its mission to protect public health and the environment without public involvement. And environmental education is so key to getting that public support that we need to protect the environment. I believe that it's environmental education that will change the way we think. It's what's going to help all of us, each one of us, think about the environmental implications of our decisions, our behaviors, and then act accordingly. So I just want to recognize all of you, the good work you do, and how you help my agency. So thank you. But tonight, tonight I'm here to celebrate some other work that's going on, and I'm really happy to be able to honor the representatives of both the winning project and our runner-up project for the President's Environmental Youth Award. Since 1971, the President's Environmental Youth Award program has encouraged individuals, school classes, summer camps, public interest groups, and youth organizations to promote environmental awareness and positive community involvement. Each year, we invite young people from across the nation, all the way from kindergarten through high school, to participate in this program. So I'm really proud to be here tonight on behalf of President Obama and our administrator, Jeannie McCarthy, to present these awards to 2 outstanding student groups for the incredible work that they're doing, not only for the environment, but also for their schools and their communities. Our runner-up group is the Emerson High School Natural Resources Connection Program, and they're from Mount Vernon. So, and our winning project is the Students for Sustainability from Port Townsend High School. Short on time, but I really have to tell you a little bit about what each of these groups has done. So the Emerson High School students have worked hard to make a positive difference, a positive physical and social improvement in their community through both cleanup and habitat restoration. They've worked at multiple sites throughout Skagit County, removing debris and dangerous and invasive plant species, and they've replaced those plant species that are non-native with native trees and shrubs. They've also taught younger students how to plant trees, and I think you can agree with me that thanks to their contributions, many generations into the future can enjoy the outdoor environment. The Emerson Group was also able to attend the 2013 Youth Environment Earth Summit, where they networked with other students and shared what they've learned about their projects. They also participated in the sound experience, which I think we heard about a little bit earlier today. Apparently, this is a program that provides a 3-day sale for students in high school, and then they learn about how important it is to keep Puget Sound clean. The students have grown from these experiences, and they work together as a team. They have made a difference for the environment, and they've helped other people realize that they too can make a difference. So, well done. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about our winning team this year. The Port Townsend Students for Sustainability conducted waste and energy audits to reduce the garbage that their school was producing. They also revived the school's recycling program, and they met with teachers and janitors and the garbage company to try to understand and then remove the barriers to recycling. They convinced school administrators to move from paper systems for homework and assignments and bulletins to a paperless system. And as a result of that, the school now uses 30 to 100 fewer reams of paper per year, which of course saves all of the school district funding and also saves room in the landfill. The team has tackled sustainability issues that will result in both economic and environmental benefits. And in the process, the students have learned everything from business principles like return on investment and cost-benefit analysis to analyzing environmental trade-offs, to identifying barriers to recycling, and then actually figuring out workable solutions to overcome those barriers. I think one of the neatest things that this team did was this past spring break, they decided to take their message about climate change to Washington, D.C. And they didn't just take it to Washington, D.C., they decided to take public transportation to Washington, D.C. And so they undertook a 6,000-mile trip, 8 days, and they did that by bus, ferry, and train. And along that route, on the train, they stopped in 55 different places, and they got signatures from students who care about the environment like themselves, and they took them to Washington, creating a wave of hope and a plea for action from our leaders, from the generation that's really going to inherit the impacts of climate change. They also met with lots of congressional and other government officials during their visit, and demanded change, and I love it. So. So just to give you a sense of the magnitude of these awards, it's important to be, the winner is great, even being the runner-up is really wonderful because the President's Environmental Youth Award is an annual honor that only 10 schools in the entire nation can say they've earned, so really prestigious. To read a quote from our regional administrator, Dennis McLaren, about the winning team. The Students for Sustainability in Port Townsend have achieved some very impressive, measurable results for the environment due to their hard work and dedication. As a Jefferson County homeowner, it makes me proud to see how this student-run organization has seized opportunities to make a difference at their school. These recycling and waste reduction efforts have helped improve the school's bottom line, and they have made it cool to take community action for the environment. Thank you. So across the nation, schools like those in Mount Vernon and Port Townsend are making amazing, amazing differences for the environment. They're not only teaching the younger generation about what they can do, but they're educating the older generation like mine about how to live greener and why it's important to do so for the planet. These groups are making the Northwest proud, and their efforts should give all of us hope. They certainly give me hope for the future. The achievements of these two groups will continue to make impacts for years and for generations to come. So it's a wonderful legacy. So I want to thank you all for letting us join in here tonight, and I want to thank you all for your amazing environmental education work and your dedication. And now I'm going to hand you, I'm not sure which ones, but I'm going to give you the plaques. And I'm going to actually tell you who's on these teams. So for our Natural Resource Connection students from Mount Vernon, we have Christian Kuzan, Anita Flores, Oscar Garcia, Dylan Gomez, Jennifer Greathouse, Mickey Sedano, and their sponsor, Beverly Maurer.
Mike.
Oh, okay. I know that the Students for Sustainability is a pretty good size group. How many people?
15,000, about 30.
Yeah. I would like all of you to come to work for EPA tomorrow. But we have two students here. We have Yuan Shortus and we have Vaughn Clarker. And their sponsor is Laura Tucker. And all I can say to all of you is just keep up the good work. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Linda. Congratulations, you guys. So we'll use the students that are going to be part of the short panel, stay up here, and then everyone else can sit down. And then if you guys just arrange yourself on these chairs. We're going to ask you to bear with us for another 10, 15 minutes. The most important speech, most important perspective is yet to come. And the other youth that are going to be part of this panel, if you guys could just arrange yourselves on these chairs, that would be great. We're going to wrap this up in 10, 15 minutes, so just bear with us a little bit longer. I want to point out, too, while you guys are getting situated, that there was some wiring work done in this room, and so we don't have overhead lights, so as it's getting darker, McKinstry's bringing in some sort of other kind of lighting, so that we'll have very special lit dance floor. So if you've been wondering why it's dark in here, that's why. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. And Carmen, are you ready to go? Okay. So we're going to hear from each of these youth briefly. They got a question ahead of this event, and the question was, if you had a magic wand and you could change the world, you could change schools, what is it that you got out of your environmental education experience and leadership that you would like to see possible for all students, and what would need to change? What would need to change in schools as we know them for that to happen? So some of these folks have had more time than others to think about that and talk about it. And then Carmen Watson Charles, who's the niece of Chairwoman Charles, who spoke with us earlier, is going to co-moderate this panel with us. And can you tell us a little bit about the program you...
Good evening, everybody. I'm Carmen Watson Charles, tribal member of the Lower Alacon tribe, and I'm the Cultural Youth Activities Coordinator for my tribe. But I've been working many years with our youth. Even when I was youth, I was working with youth. So I would like to thank you all for having us. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and turn the mic over to you and introduce yourself. And
I'm Jennifer Greathouse from Emerson High School.
can you guys hear that?
No.
Here.
I'm very. I'm Jennifer Greathouse from Emerson High School in Mount Vernon. And one thing that I really noticed that really needs to be changed about the schools is our funding. Because I personally come from a nonprofit school, and we struggle a lot with our funding. And before that, I think this was the first year that I actually got to be able to go out and do something with my school, which really was awesome that we got to do it, but that's the one thing I would change, is the funding. Because, I mean, yeah, math and stuff is important, but learning about environment is also important. And we need funding for that just as much as we need funding for science and English and math. Because, yeah, that will get you somewhere, but where's it going to get you if our world is not going to be here?
Thank you.
My name is Evan Clark. I'm the media representative for Students for Sustainability from Fort Johnson High School. If I were to change one thing in our school, it would be to make it entirely paperless. Do everything on computers and then have the district have computers to give to students who don't have them at home. Because that's a big problem in our district, students who can't afford computers or can't get on the internet at home. So I'd like to distribute completely paperless, because even the most tech-savvy and Google Docs-oriented teacher in our district, who shall remain nameless, still has about 5 sheets of paper a week. So if you go completely paperless, think about the amount of paper waste that could be saved from our school and then from all the schools in our state and in our nation and in the world.
Thank you.
My name is Ewan Shortis. I'm the former president of Students for Sustainability from Fort Townsend, Washington. And I have a little less of a concrete thing that I would change. In the work that we have done, we have run up against some serious problems relating to student and staff behavior. So the thing I would change if I could, and I don't know if I could even if I had what was given in the problem, but I'll take a stab at it anyway, is just behavior changes of staff, of students, and especially staff, because, you know, they're working for the state. They should know what's going on and whether that's possible through education. So whether that's courses that they need to take or mandated training that they need to take or whatever it takes, so that when we approach them with a laid out business plan and there's cost savings potential there, they don't find what's wrong with it, they find what's right with it, and they don't discuss it with, and they discuss it with us, but they don't lay down all the problems with it, even if there aren't necessarily problems. And student behavior changes, that's through education too, and it's harder because our age group isn't always quite on top of it sometimes, but those are 2 things I would change.
I'm from Awanti High School in Olympia. I would change the amount of time that students get to spend outside, because it's hard to learn to appreciate the environment and how important it is when you're just looking at pictures of it on a screen.
I'm Jessie Dirks from Chief Sealth International High School. Something I would change is my school has an incredibly amazing club called World Water Week, and every year we do a World Water Festival where we talk about like global issues and water-related issues, and I think it's a really amazing opportunity that our students are allowed to be able to do that, and it's all student-led. We get keynote speakers and everything, and I wish that more education was like that, because we basically get a whole week of celebrating water and talking about culture and talking about global water issues. And specifically this year, I was really inspired because we all were mobilized around the idea of getting rid of plastic. You know, my t-shirt says plastic is forever. And it's crazy because our school district still sells plastic disposable water bottles. I mean, I don't know. And then on top of that, there's nothing on the approved list of water fountains for something that makes it easy for you to fill up your water bottle. So I wish that our education was more experiential, and I wish that our
certified list would have something on there that made it easier for us to be environmentally conscious.
Hi, I'm Nina, and I'm from Emerson, Vermont, Vernon. I'm Nina, and I'm from Emerson High School, Mount Vernon. With this experience, something I would change is probably I'd have most schools do compost and recycle, because at our school, that's very important to a lot of the teachers.
Hello, my name is Dylan Gomez from Emerson High School in Mount Vernon. And the thing I would change would be we should go outdoors more and be more hands-on and teach the younger kids, like the generation under us, about that, about everything, because they're going to learn what we learned. And they should just follow in our footsteps and make the earth grow better and everything.
My name is Michael Sedano. I'm from Emerson High School in Mount Vernon. And the one thing I would change about it is about how we carry on our education would be going out more. You can only learn so much from books, but the one thing that truly matters is like first-hand experience. So being able to do whatever you need to do with your own hands, or be able to apply it wherever.
My name is Ren Wagenbach from Hamilton International Middle School in Seattle, and if I could change one thing, it's probably not enough people in my school know about how they can help and do things to stop the climate crisis.
My name is Zoe Foster. I go to Hamilton International Middle School too. The thing I would change, I think, is probably the cafeteria food. Because one thing, it doesn't taste very good. The other thing is, I'm pretty sure it's treated with chemicals and it's not very locally sourced. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you, student panel. It was really amazing to sit here and listen to. Due to time, we're going to keep it at this. But I just would like to echo some things I heard, and it was the next generation's healthy eating, and also, more computer work, and also getting outside. And that is really amazing. And these young people, I just put my hands up to them, because they are saying very adult things up here, and I'm very proud of you, and I know everyone out here is proud of you. So Hutchinson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, guys. So we're so honored to have heard from elders tonight and dignitaries of our community and the voice of the youth. I think in combination, this checklist of what they just said gives us our marching orders. We're in this together. We can change the system. We can do this together. And we're in it together. It's the we generation now, right? We're backing you. So thank you for jumping up here like you did. That's not easy to do. You guys did a great job. And we're going to bring this program to a wrap now, as Evanis would say. And to close us out, Tom Hulse is going to bring us to a final close. Thank you again, students, and all of you awardees and families. By the way, Tom was asking about categories of people, and there's only one person who's in a category here tonight, and that is a 98-year-old grandmother of an awardee, Doris. Is she still here? She left. Okay, well, she was here, and that's amazing.
Folks, I am the last one standing between you and the raffle, and more food and dance, more music and dancing. But we would be remiss if we failed to mention one thing with many folks who are part of the environmental community here tonight. Our board of directors, who you met earlier, realized that just supporting our 2.5 staff by running around trying to get grants isn't always the best way to run an organization. Because what happens with that, as most of you know, is mission creep. If the grant says you got to do this, then you go there. If you get another grant that says you got to do this, you go there. And pretty soon, you run in different directions. Our board has said we want to control our destiny. We want to pursue our core objectives and our core mission, which is what you saw here tonight. And we also believe with Billy Frank that learning and education is something that we should all pursue together. Those environmental wars should be over. We should achieve consensus and together arrive at solutions that are best for our state. And we believe with our students, the testimonies that you hear tonight, that learning is best when it's experiential, when it's project-based, and I would say when it involves the outdoors. So, having said those things, we would like to let you know, all of our sponsors and potential members, that we're moving back towards kind of a membership-based organization, which we got away from about 7 or 8 years ago. Our website is just about ready to go. It's a fabulous website. Some of you get the digest that comes out every other week or so. We hope that you'll continue to read that. And we appeal to you to give an honest-to-goodness look at our organization as far as joining. Our membership fees will be $50. So it's not much, and for students it's $25. But we want to keep this going, and we have some other, our board has other ideas too for as we finance our future, and I think Mike and maybe Epinas have a couple of ideas, and we'll let them have the final word, and then we'll adjourn. Mike?
Thank you, Tom. We'll be quick, and I don't know if anyone has the official responsibility or anyone has the opportunity to thank these two who have been up here all this evening. I can guarantee you without these two individuals. Go ahead. A lot of people who were responsible for this evening. I can guarantee you from personal experience on the board, there would not be this evening without those two. And I can further state that without those two, there probably would be no E3 in my belief. There would be the work of E3, but it wouldn't be under the same structures that are currently in place. I don't know any two individuals that care more about the environment and this work than these two. Tom is a volunteer, and Abby from deep within her being. This is important work for them, and we thank you a great deal for what you bring to this work. We wouldn't be here without the sponsors for this evening, and we are running a sponsorship campaign right now. We're trying to do a significant transition. The kind of work that this organization really should be engaged in is not what we've been able to do historically because we've been bound by grants. And we're trying to shift that so that we can become a broker of service, so that we can be in the policy arena and down in Olympia having a presence and influencing legislation that has an opportunity to change the experiences of these young people and for all of us. And so Epinas and I have talked about, well, what are some structures that we might consider, and what we've decided to do, and actually we signed a piece of paper that if you choose to do, you can also, what this organization needs is operating money on a regular basis. So we have agreed that we're going to provide out of our credit card a $20 withdrawal every month. And that money then will go towards operating costs to allow this organization to transition into the kind of work that these people have the experience and capacity to do if we can free them up. So that's a structure that we're looking at and encouraging others to consider across the state and providing that opportunity for a funding base that allows the work to move forward.
And he said, well, I need to say no more, other than to say if you want to give more, if you want to participate in this program that we're signing up for, there's a sign-up sheet out in the lobby, I believe, at the registration desk. So we just really would encourage you to support the organization in whatever way you can. And we'd be oh so grateful, and I think the students and the organization would benefit greatly from it. Thank you so much.
very much